मौमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 5th chapter, beginning from verse number 10. Sri Vidura is continuing to speak the questions he wants to know from Maitreya Muni. And in the previous verses he asked question about happiness, which is the ultimate goal of everybody's life. Whether human beings, animals, birds, or even plants, everybody is looking for happiness. So his main question was that why is that we work for happiness but we never get it, rather we end up in problem. Everybody is suffering in this material world. There is nobody who does not suffer. And once in a while there is a little glimpse of happiness, and then everybody keeps on dreaming for this. In Mahabharata there is one allegorical explanation that one man, he went to forest. When he was in the forest, one tiger came. Previously in India there used to be a lot of tigers. Now there are only 2,500 left. About 100 years ago there were 50,000. There would have been more, at least they counted 50,000. How can you count all the tigers in the forest? So this tiger started chasing this man. So the man ran for his life. When he ran, he saw a well. So he thought, better I jump inside the well because tiger is not going to jump in. So he jumped in the well. But obviously jumping in the well is also a problem because it was a blind well. There was no water in it. So when he jumped in, then he saw that this Vatvriksha, this tree in India we have, from the tree the branches come down and they become the root again. So they were hanging in the well, so he held on to that. And he was hanging. Then he looked down, he saw there was a cobra.
Oh.
And the tiger is outside the well, roaring. So he looks up, he sees the tiger, he looks down, he sees the cobra. But simultaneously what is happening, that there was a beehive above, and once in a while one drop of honey was falling from this beehive. So he was always looking for this and putting his tongue out. So he is in such a big danger, and he is hoping that I get this honey. So once in a while he gets a drop of honey, another time he is fearing. So this is human life. And then he sees that there were two rats, and they were cutting this branch. One was black and one was white. So obviously they are going to cut it and he is going to drop. So this is the human life. This branch signifies our lifespan, and rats are day and night which are eating it up. And then cobra down is the death, because as he falls down, cobra will bite him, he will be finished. And above there is also danger, but once in a while you get one drop of honey. So that is material life. So he is asking this question, that why is that human beings are suffering? We are supposed to be intelligent, evolved from animal life, but it looks like we suffer more than animals. So this was his main question, and after that, of course, he starts talking about Lord and his pastimes and how he created this world, the various divisions of different species of life, and so much variety, and different names given to the different species. And even in one species there is variety, because we have fish, and there are various type of fish. There is a tuna fish, and there is whale, and there are other types of small fish, big fish. So how these names were given to them by God, how he created. So God is very wonderful. He creates human beings. Everybody looks different. You create clocks in a factory, they all look the same. Or you make cars, and the same, everything comes same. God has got a design. Everybody is unique. So many people have been born in the past, so many will be born in future. No two human beings are same. Even our fingerprints are unique. No human being can create so many objects of same class, and they will be different. So this is the uniqueness. So he asked that how is that he is giving these names, Atma Karma Rupa Abhidhanam, according to the form, action, and the nature, Swabhava. So everybody has different Swabhava and different name and different qualities. So he says, I want to know all this, that how Lord has done this. Then he says, Paravaresham Bhagavan Vratani Srutani Me Vyasa Mukhadabhikshnam Atrupnuma Kshulla Sukhavāhanam Tesham Brite Krishna Kratha Mritavghat. He says that I have heard various types of characters, religious principles, superior and inferior, from the mouth of Vyasa. Vyasa is the great sage who wrote all the scriptures of India, and he lived in Himalayas, in Badrikashram, and Vidura is actually the son of Vyasa, because he was conceived by Vyasa. So naturally he has heard from his father so many stories, like in the olden days when there was no electricity. Then people will just sit down together, the family, and they will tell stories. After the electricity came, then that storytelling was lost, because then people started going here and there, and television came and destroyed every storytelling. So he says that I heard so many stories from Vyasadmukhas. He says continuously I heard. And Atripnuma Shulla Sukhavan. But they are not giving too much pleasure. Teshamrite Krishna Kathamritaghat. Because they are not having the direct activities explained in them of Krishna. And I am satisfied with them. Which means I don't want to hear them anymore. Like in childhood you may have heard so many rhymes and chimes and stories. Now you are not interested in that. You want to hear some more intricate stories. So he says, I want to hear more about Lord Krishna. And I can never be satisfied with that. So our desire is proportionate to the object of desire. So just like an ant, she has hunger, but hunger is satisfied with a little food. Elephant also has hunger, but he eats big amount. He can eat a ton of food. So the intensity of the desire is according to the object. Krishna is unlimited. He has unlimited qualities, unlimited forms, unlimited activities. So therefore we can never be satisfied by hearing about Krishna, because there is no end to it. The object itself is unlimited, and therefore the desire for this is unlimited. Just like you have fire and you pour some ghee into oil into the fire, or put wood, that does not put off the fire increases. So spiritual life is like that. In material life you become bored after some time. You hear something once or twice, then you are bored with that. But in spiritual life you can hear the same stories again and again, and you get more and more relish from that, and more meanings come from that. So that is the nature of spiritual objects, spiritual activities. So you sing the glories of the Lord, you chant the name of God. You don't become satiated with that, but it gives you a certain type of relish. But he says that this other things, Tesham Rite Krishna Katha Mritaghat Chulla Sukhavan, these other objects, whether it is material music or material stories, then they are not very satisfying, and then you want a change. So again and again you have to hear new songs, although the material is same, but put in different tune or different wordings. Then after some time you get bored with it, then you want to hear something new. So he says, I don't want to hear those things anymore. I am interested only in hearing about Krishna, because Krishna is very beautiful and his name is Krishna because he is most attractive. So he is very pleasing to the mind, and only his stories can satisfy us completely. So he says, Nanu etat sarvam mahabharate tvaya srutam eva. So if someone says that all these questions which you are asking, all the creation and divisions of various species, he says you have already heard them in Mahabharata. Mahabharata is the biggest epic of the world. It has 100,000 verses in it. And various types of stories. Most interesting plot you will see is Mahabharata, more than Harry Potter. People are very much fascinated by Harry Potter. But actually if you read Mahabharata, it is more interesting. And it is not just interesting plot, but there is a lot of knowledge in it. It teaches you various types of religious principles and also about ethics, morality, about family life, and how you have to rule, manage things, deal with other people. All these things are taught in Mahabharata. So it's not just a story that you have some entertainment, but it is education. So Vyasa has written that for common people. So he says, you have heard all that. Tatraha pare devadya avre pashvadyas tesam vratani sohavatesham tair atripnuma triptasana. Says in that there are stories about the devas, the demigods. There are stories about animals and their natures. There are also many animal stories. All these Aesop's fable which you hear in the West, they are originally coming from Mahabharata. You can trace every story into Mahabharata. So he says, I am not interested in that. I have heard that enough. Nagnis tripyati kashthanam itivat shashti kshulam tucham kintu. Says that satisfaction which derives from that is very little. Just like you have seen this one type of sweet they make in India. I'm sure you have it in the West also. Here we call it the hair of old lady, budhiya ke baal. You put it in the mouth and it's finished. That is the name of the sweet, because it's like a fluffy thing. It's
This is something like sugar.
Yeah, and you put it in the mouth and just now it's gone. There's nothing even to chew. You have to just put it inside, it's finished. It's like a bubble, bubble of sugar, it's little sweet. So this is called Shulla Sukha, very insignificant happiness. So there is nothing you get from it. So he says that this happiness which you gain or satisfaction which you gain by hearing these other stories is like that. So when he says that I am tripta, I am satisfied, means I have lost interest in that. So you please teach me about Krishna. And I would like to hear more about it. So he says, Tatra Krishna Krathamrita Augha Tasmadrite. Augha is like a flow. Like when a river is overflowing, that is called Augha. So he says, I want Krishna Kathamrit Augha. Means this big flow of the nectar of Krishna's pastimes. That's what I am really keen to hear. Tena yad yan maya prichyate tattat sarvam Krishna kathamrit sampraktam eva tvaya vaktavyam. So the meaning is that whatever questions I ask you about creation, about the various divisions and the activities of the avatars, incarnations, I want to hear them only when they are mixed with Krishna Katha, the stories of Krishna, not independently. That means everything you explain to me, there should be Krishna Katha in it. Otherwise, I have no interest. So like in Gujarat, they cook food. Whatever they cook, they put sugar in it. If they make dal, that is also sweet. If they make sabji, that is also sweet. And of course, sweets are sweet. So everything has to be sweet. Because they are worshipper of Balakrishna and baby Krishna. And baby Krishna cannot eat spice. So they offer everything sweet. So the Gujarati food is like that. There has to be sweet. So like that he says that every story you tell me, it should have a touch of Krishna in it. Then I can hear. Otherwise, don't tell me. So that's a devotee, that he is not interested in hearing any other thing except about Krishna. So then he says, Kastriptuyat tirtha pado vidhanat satreshu vasurabhiridyamanat yakarna nadim purushasyato bhavapradam geharatim chinati. If someone says why you want to hear about Krishna, after some time you will also get bored with that. So he says, who is that person who will feel bored by hearing stories of Krishna? So Krishna's stories are very wonderful and nobody can become bored with them. So he is asking a rhetorical question, Kas tripyat tirthapado vidhana. Krishna is called here as Tirthapada, means the holy tirthas have come from his foot, because the Ganges also, this river Ganga, came from his feet. And his activities, his pastimes, they are sung by great souls like Narada. Narada is a celestial sage and he has a veena and he is traveling all over the universe singing the songs about the Lord. And specifically, these stories are told in the assembly of holy people. So in India, previously there used to be fire sacrifices. Fire sacrifice was a very common religious activity in India. And there was one type of sacrifice which was called Satra. Satra is a sacrifice which continues for 12 years. And many sadhus, holy people, they come, like Sonaka Rishi with 88,000 saintly people. He was assembled at Naimisharanya and he was performing a satra there. So this was a regular practice in India, that such sacrifices were performed. And then sacrifice is not going 24 hours. They do the sacrifice and then they sit down together and they hear stories. Like Sonaka Rishi is asking question to Sut Goswami. Sut Goswami recited the Puranas there, including the Bhagavatam. So this is how the knowledge was distributed. Not only that they will do sacrifice, then they will discuss the activities of the Lord and hear. So that's why it says Satreshu va suribhir idyamanat. That in the various satras which were being performed all over India, then learned people, they will recite the stories of the Lord. And then what is the outcome of hearing these stories? He says Yakarna nadim purushasyato. When these stories enter into the ears of human beings, then bhavapradham greharatim chinati. Then it cuts the bondage to family life. So we are very much attached to our house and family, because these days it is hard to speak about family because there is no family. Family is already broken down. It's a big crisis all over the world because of this modern lifestyle. The families are broken, but still people live together and there is attachment, and because of this attachment we are always taking birth, dying and taking another birth, because we forget God in the process. So he says Geharatim Chinati, that our attachment comes to house or family, which means husband or wife or children, and then we fall into the cycle of birth and death, bhava pradhan. This attachment leads to bhava. Bhava means taking birth again. This is what comes out of it. So when we hear stories about Krishna, then our attachment becomes slackened to material life, and we become attached to Krishna. And this is how we become free from the cycle of birth and death. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tattva deham punarnati mameti swarnam. He says that my birth and my activities, they are divine. They are not material. And if we can understand them, then we become liberated. We don't have to suffer in the material world again. So soul is immortal, soul does not die, but soul is bound now to material life because of material desires. And these desires are never satisfied. They are only transferred from one to another. Otherwise they are unending. The only way the desires can come to an end is if we desire service of the Lord. And that is only possible if we hear about Him. So hearing is the beginning of spiritual life. Without hearing, there is no spiritual life. And it is not only beginning, but it continues. So when we hear about Krishna or about God, then we become theistic. We develop faith. And when we have faith, then because of our faith, our lifestyle changes. Because we act on the basis of our faith. Shraddhamayo ayam purushayo yas shraddha sayavasa. So we are made of faith. Everybody has some faith. Nobody is faithless. Even those who are atheistic, they have faith that there is no God. Or they have faith in some human being. So without faith we cannot live. We sleep, we have a faith that we'll wake up. Suppose we do not have this faith that I sleep, I will not wake up, I will be scared to sleep. So we are eating, we have faith that by eating my body will be nourished. So on the basis of faith, if I don't have that faith that this food can give me problem, I will not eat it. So similarly, our life is guided by our faith. Whether we have faith in God, or if we have faith in material pursuits, or we have faith in something else in afterlife. So when we hear about Krishna, about God, then we get faith about Him. And when we get faith about Him, that is the starting point of spiritual life. Adu Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Atha Bhajan Kriya. Then we want to hear more. We want to associate with people who know about God. And then there is a revolution in our life. So faith is actually the beginning of spiritual revolution. Without faith, nothing happens. But faith is of two types. There is a reasonable faith and there is unreasonable faith. Or there is a rational faith and irrational faith. So rational faith is that which is based on the proper hearing.
Rational.
And irrational faith is that which is based on without any strong understanding. That is called blind faith. Although faith is always blind, it does not have eyes to see. That's why it is called faith or Shraddha. So there is various types of Shraddha described in Bhagavad Gita. But here we are talking about the transcendental faith, which is based on scriptures. By hearing the scriptures we get faith. That is transcendental faith. And this is the faith which elevates our consciousness, which transports us from material life to spiritual life. Actually, faith itself is enough to uplift us. Because once we have faith, then we are bound to act accordingly. You cannot act accordingly. You cannot go against your faith. If you do that, you will be in big trouble. So that's why it says, Yakarna nadim purushashyato bhavat pradam geharatim chinati. That it enters into the ear, goes into the heart. And then it makes some cleaning there, cleaning the house, because heart is full of garbage. We have been collecting a lot of garbage by seeing, by hearing, smelling, eating. A lot of garbage we have dumped inside us. So that has to be cleaned. All our problems are coming because there is garbage in the heart. So unless we clean that, we will keep on suffering. And the easiest way to clean is to hear. You don't have to do anything, you just sit and hear. This is the easiest. You don't have to do